Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Vinnie Eastwood Show. We're broadcasting live on AmericanFreedomRadio.com 5 days a week. You can check out the archives, both in audio and video, at the archives page at thevinnieeastwoodshow.com. And thank you very much all for listening, and particularly thank you for those who donate on a regular basis, $5 a month, and for that you get the commercial-free archives and all sorts of other little goodies as well. No, actually, I'm lying. You don't really get anything out of it. Other than the reason people donate, I assume, based on no evidence, is that you just want me to keep doing what I'm doing. So I will. Today, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, which is interviews with all sorts of different people from all over the spectrum. People who disagree with each other, people who agree with each other, people who have fights and what have you like that. I'm kind of like I'm kind of like a prostitute for truth. You know, whoever comes on the show, I just proselytize myself and attempt to promote them as best I can, regardless of whether or not I agree with them or disagree with them or anything like that. I just want to hear them out, find out who they are and what they do, kind of thing. So today we have Glenn Canady, not Glenn Canada, but Glenn Canady with a Y, and I believe his website is project.nsearch.com. /profile/ Glenn Canady is the one that I'm particularly looking at the moment, but in general just project.nsearch.com, and he has written a number of articles for beforeitsnews.com, including analysis of Stu Webb, who has exposed people like Alex Jones and the Illuminati, as well as Pete Santilli on similar bases, as well as a number of other topics as well, including Veterans Today editor Gordon Duff, and the many, many different topics that he aspires to talk about as well. Glenn, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Vinny. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
May I ask, just kind of what actually got you into this form of research and thingies, and more to the point, I'm relatively unfamiliar with you and the things that you do, so I'd love an even better recap than I gave, which I assume is extremely possible.
Well, I don't really know how I got into this crazy business, whatever you want to call it. I tell you, to this day, I still don't know. I guess at first I thought Alex Jones was real, when he went out and said, start your own radio show, start your own website. So I started project.nsearch.com. And at first it was just basically uncensored news, kind of what you do. You talk the truth and you let the cards fall where they may. And then I started meeting different people, and I was like, whoa, this stuff is really deep. And, when I first started, and I don't know which you want to cover, I guess we'll start maybe with the Alex Jones, because he's really what got me started, because I thought he was real. I wanted to believe him. I bought for my company, we were giving out his DVDs, his prizes. He was really the biggest thing out there as far as the most well-funded. So as I and I really did believe him for a couple of years. And that's what I've talked to a lot of people, Stu Webb and a lot of others, and they all got sucked into him at the beginning too, because you can understand, when you start looking into him, he sounds like he's real. I mean, he sounds like, I want to beat these guys, I don't censor anything, and he sounds very sincere. He's a funny guy, he's a likable guy. I mean, I wanted to believe in him the whole time, and I did believe him for several years. And it's funny because I have some people attacking me now because, oh, you used to say that Alex Jones was wonderful. Yeah, it's called changing your mind when you get more information. It's not a sin to make a mistake. It's only a sin if you don't admit your mistakes when you find out.
Mark Twain, I think it was Mark Twain that said, when an honest man is confronted with the truth that he is wrong, he will either cease to be wrong or cease to be honest.
Yeah. Absolutely. You've got to make, when you make a mistake, everybody makes mistakes. When you find out you made a mistake, you correct it. And that's what I did with Alex Jones. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I never take any one person's, because I had a lot of people saying Alex Jones is bad. And I said, well, why is he bad? They can never give me a reason. And I was like, look, I'm not going to throw somebody in the bus, underneath the bus, unless I know for a fact I see the evidence for myself. So, I started digging around. I've seen, you've probably seen, if you type in Alex Jones Austin gun rally, that was the first thing that said, wait a second, this doesn't make sense. Here you see Alex Jones screaming at some lady's face, get out of my face. And then he calls her COINTEL the next day, and she was the one that invited him to the rally. He was just acting very strange. And I went down to Orlando to try to meet him one time, and I talked to actually Aaron Dykes, who was running the cameras in the back, and just asked, hey, is Alex going to stay? Because I was still believing in Alex even in Orlando, and I just wanted to shake his hand, look him in the eye, face to face, just to get a feel for the guy. And I said, hey, is he going to stick around afterwards? And he says, oh yeah, I'm sure we'll stick around for 20 or 30 minutes. And I was like, cool. So afterwards, he just got out of there really fast, and that was actually the last conference that he gave, the one in Orlando. He was supposed to go to more, and I never understood why he canceled all that. So I never got to meet him. And I, not too long after that, I met Stu Webb and got his information. And you've interviewed him. I've seen that before, so you're well aware of his information. And his information was basically that he had met Stu Webb 10 years ago. And for those of you that don't know about Stu Webb, he's what I consider a super patriot. He's a guy that's paid his dues, who's actually gone out there for over 28 years. He broke the 9/11 story 3 months before it happened, over 3 months before. But Alex Jones wants everybody to believe that he is the only one that came out with it before, but he actually only came out with it about a month before. So here's Stu Webb and Cooper and everybody was way out in front of this thing. And of course, Alex never gives anybody else credit. It's always me. Well, Stu Webb's information was, before he found out from his sources about Alex Jones, he asked Alex Jones for help. He basically wanted to get on his show and tell his story because, as you know, it's a very incredible story. I mean, he has got some amazing information that over 8 books have been written on this information. Even Jim Marrs says a lot of his information comes from his website and his investigation. So the guy's credible.
The short stack of which is he married a daughter of one of the members of the Illuminati S-type people, and ever since then, he's had everything bad happen for him. They even burnt down his house.
Yeah, they burned down a client's house that he was working on, and it wasn't even insured. So, that was not a good deal. And they tried to kill him multiple times, including multiple car accidents that were FBI personnel. So anybody that says that Stu Webb is a shill or a COINTEL, that person is a Fed or working for a Fed, guaranteed, or they're just dumb. Because the only people that say he's a Fed is like the idiots over at Educate Yourself. If you type in Stu Webb and see any negative information, it's always from Educate Yourself or whatever it is.
What does the word educate mean? As far as I know, it means indoctrinate. So is it indoctrinateyourself.com?
Exactly. That guy's on government payroll, guaranteed. In fact, he's being named in Stu's lawsuits, and he will get revenge on these people that are employed by the government lying about it. But, so to make a long story short about Stu Webb, he basically, before he knew about Alex Jones, he started talking to his personnel, and in fact, one of the people that worked for him actually stopped by Stu's house and got some documents because he wanted to show him some real stuff and say, I'm not a crackpot. Here's some real documents right in your face. And so he brought him back to Alex Jones, of course, and he hemmed and hawed and never really committed to getting him on the show, which is a lot of people you hear about, including Tila Tequila or whatever her name is. She was supposed to get on there and divulge a bunch of secrets. And then the day of the show, she calls in and they say, oh, we can't have you on all of a sudden, after she had already told him everything she knew just about him, pre-interview type stuff. So that's called a honeypot. That's bogus right there. There is no excuse why he shouldn't have put her on and got all the information and let her get that information out. So anyway, so he gets all the information to Alex, and Alex is hemming and hawing. And around that time, his intel sources say, what are you doing? Alex is COINTEL. And he goes, what do you mean? He goes, well, he works for FBI, and he's got a CIA handler named Norvell and all this stuff. So Alex starts, saying, hey, why don't you get me on the show? And finally he kind of gets off to Alex and says, "Is it true that your handler is Norvell?" And somebody that was in the room, I believe it was Statmiller, John Statmiller, was on the phone and was in the office or whatever with Alex Jones, and said that all of a sudden that he didn't hear anything from Alex when he said that. And he says, hello, John, what's going on? And he goes, Alex just turned white as a ghost and walked out the room. So, that gave me just one piece of evidence. Again, I don't base my, even though I trust Stu Webb more than just about anybody in this alternative business, I still wouldn't throw somebody under the bus on one person. So I go out and I find Dr. Coldwell. I don't know if you've ever seen that clip that I've got, but if you just Google, what is it, Dr.
I won't be able to watch
Coldwell
it while we're on air, but yes. Yeah, Dr. Coldwell versus.
Just type in Dr. Coldwell and Alex Jones, and you'll get the YouTube video. But basically, I did an interview with Coldwell, who's curing over 92% of cancers, and it's actually about 99 if you don't do the chemo. So we've interviewed him many times on In Search Radio before we changed our format to be Christian-based. But anyway, I asked Coldwell point blank at a conference before I even knew anything about Alex, and I still thought he was real. I said, how come I've never heard you on Alex Jones? And he goes, oh, yeah, no, because Alex isn't about solutions. I've had 4 different doctors that have been on the Alex Jones show tell him to get me on the show, and Mike Adams, who, as you know, is a co-host over there and runs the show when Alex isn't there, that begged Alex to get me on the show. He won't do it. And I'm like, whoa. Here's a guy that's cured over 100,000 people of cancer, which is more than anybody on the planet. He's got the highest cure rate, and Alex Jones doesn't want to give this guy 10 minutes of airtime. I mean, please. I mean, you can run commercials forever on 5-star soap and all this garbage that doesn't save anybody's life, but you can't tell your fans about Alex Jones. And I guess I took it personal because when I was first starting to listen to Alex Jones, my dad was dying of cancer, and my dad died 3 years ago. So it made me upset. I'm not blaming Alex for the death of my father, but I'm blaming him because I know 100%, because at first I said, well, maybe Alex didn't know about Dr. Coldwell, but now I know 100% that Alex was told about him many, many, many years before I even started listening to him. So all you people out there that know anything about Alex Jones, ask yourself a question. Why would a patriot teller ever want to censor Dr. Coldwell from anybody? Okay. I know you wouldn't do it, Vinny. I know you've had Stu Webb on your show. I know you're real. Okay. But when
I just kind of have callous disregard and a lack of professionalism. I just kind of have anybody on the show.
Well, I would rather have you have anybody on the show than actually be a censoring stooge, because that shows that you don't have a bias. You're not feeding me by spoon and saying, look, you need to believe this. You need to believe only this. And that's what I respect.
That's probably because half the time I don't know what I believe, because you get so much analysis from so many people that conflicts with each other, and I think it's like, if you want to actually base your life on something, you better be absolutely sure as to what you're thinking and what you're doing. And in the vast majority of the cases, I'm not entirely sure. So I reserve judgment almost on an infinitum basis.
Right. Well, that's good, because, like I said, it took me years to figure out, what really made sense to me regarding Alex Jones. And like I said, I don't take anybody, just one person, 2 people. That's why I wrote the article, and you can see it right on the front page of project.nsearch.com, right there in the featured section. And I've got all my proof on why I believe Alex Jones is a gatekeeper. And he's a gatekeeper. He doesn't want to tell you about Judy Wood, and her incredible research on, why those towers fell. Where did the towers go? You know all about that, Vinny. She's got some very, very good points that needed to be brought up. And when anybody ever told, for years people called into Alex Jones, what do you think about, we should get Judy Wood on the show. oh, well, yeah, we'll look into that. And it's like, and
Oh,
then finally,
no, he doesn't say we'll look into that. He says, "Oh, you mean Marvin the Martian and space beams?"
yeah, yeah. Now he says space beams. But I did hear him say before once, but even earlier, he did say one time, yeah, we'll look into that just to throw people up. Now you're right. He did say space beams. It's like, no, it has nothing to do. She never says we don't know exactly the technology they use, but let me tell you this. Nanothermite cannot burn cars, 1,600 cars up to 6 blocks away. Because if that was possible, all those people would be incinerated that were all around the scene. Okay, so that doesn't make any sense. The nanothermite is a no-go, BS. I don't really believe in the nano nukes or whatever, the micro nukes. I don't believe in it because that doesn't show me why those cars were burned 6 blocks away.
Hold on, we're coming up to break now, Glenn. You know the thing I can say about 9/11? I don't know what happened. I do know what didn't happen, though. What didn't happen is jet fuel melting steel. You know how I know that? Because it can't! Okay, we'll be right back after the break at the VinnyEastwoodShow.com with Glenn Canady. You know what? I think I really do have callous disregard. There's a rule in talk radio, in this kind of conspiracy talk radio. Don't talk about Alex Jones. Don't talk about it. All right, and seriously, you attack Alex Jones, you wind up being destroyed in some way, shape, or form. People love him. I used to love him. Until I had conversations with all of the people that used to work for him and work with him, who know him really, really well, and all the stories that they tell. His best friends, former best friends, and former producers, and former this, former that. I've spoken to so many people who've known him personally, people who've been on his show and everything like that. And the things that you hear are so disillusioning. It's like finding out that your father's a pedophile, kind of thing. Imagine you lived your entire life and you're perfectly happy, and he's never abused you or anything like that. You've never seen any evidence of this kind of thing. But then all of a sudden, all these children come out saying that he abused them while he was the head of the Catholic Church or something like that. That was kind of what it felt like to me. Because he was my prime inspiration for getting this radio show going. He was my prime inspiration for going out and exposing scumbaggery with a camera. Really, I would not exist. And in large part, the truth movement itself would not exist in the format that it is today, and the size and the scope that it is today, without him. But one thing that has been told to me by his former producer is that regardless of maybe the harm that he has caused and some of the dishonesty that he has wrought, it does not mean that he doesn't do a hell of a lot of good.
Right. I agree. I think everybody does a little bit of good. I kind of look at Alex sort of like a Glenn Beck 2.0, sort of like a better version of Glenn Beck. Everybody knows Glenn Beck is a Benedict Arnold. He doesn't tell near the truth of Alex Jones. Now, Alex Jones is basically the top of the pyramid, I say, because he does tell 98% of the truth. He does do all good, and I do praise him for that. But here's my only problem. I don't mind, because I'm not even in this rural game anymore. We've gone, N-Search Radio is now a completely Christian network. I've realized that the alternative media is led by mostly a bunch of fakes, for the most part, that have the control, and they're not really interested in solutions. I myself did not have the resources to ever get to that level, nor do I even want to, because I realize now that my calling is to wake up as many people about God, because God is the ultimate solution. I mean, the New World Order is pure evil. I mean, if you believe in good and evil, you believe in the devil and God, because that's the both extremes. So we're in a fight against the devil. So I now choose to step back. I still make an occasional post, but most of my time now is basically working on nsearch.com, which is our mothership, and it is all about spreading the word of God. But this is the last thing I'll say, really. that gives me concern about Jones, and why the only reason I'm exposing him is not because I want to tarnish the good that he's done. But here's the thing: if like I would consider you and what I used to be, we're like little sergeants out there. We don't have the resource. We're not generals. We don't have the control of everything. But we were doing the best we could because Alex Jones told us, get a radio show. I'll support you. I'm here to build you up. Well, number one, I found out that was a lie because my old producer literally called him hundreds of times, hundreds of emails. We had one of the biggest shows on Blog Talk Radio at the time through Insert Radio. And guess what? Guess how many responses we got from the quote general of the info war? Zero. That's right. So if he's my general, I don't want any part of that because here I am, I've been out there, and anybody in this field, all of you, including anybody that posts anything on Facebook, you are all my heroes because you're doing the work. You're out there putting your name on the line. You know as well as I do that everybody knows everything that you do. So they know that you're awake. You're all heroes in my book. So don't sit there and tell me to start a radio show and to start a website, and then you're not going to support anybody but Alex Jones. And that's what he does. Or the only ones he'll support is the other shills out there like Intel Hub, who I've already uncovered as complete shills too, because they wouldn't interview Stu Webb either. For months and months, Bob Tuskin refused to do it, made all kinds of lame excuses. And that's the thing. You know who the shills are by a couple of things. Do they tell the truth about Lee Wanta? Do they tell the truth about Dr. Coldwell? And do they actually put Stu Webb on the air, one of the most dangerous men in the world, according to Karl Rove? He said that he was one of the top 2 most dangerous men. Who's he dangerous to? He's dangerous to the New World Order bad guys. But this is what I'm going to say about Alex. I've caught him in direct, blatant lies. Now, where do all lies come from? Lies come from the devil. It says right in the Bible, all lies come from the devil. He lied to his fans when he told them that Lee Wanta and his funds were as real as the Easter Bunny. Now, if you go Google Stu Webb and get on his website or Tom Hennigan and read those reports, you'll see. And go read the Gordon, go to YouTube and type in Gordon Duff Stu Webb and go see that interview where he tells the truth about Lee Wanta. He's not the Easter Bunny, I can assure you, and those funds are real. And that's a huge deal because we've got him on tape sitting there saying that Lee Wanta, Ambassador Lee Wanta, was as real as the Easter Bunny to his fans. That is a blatant lie, and Alex Jones knows it. And probably the next time you see me come out hard is when those funds get put in the U.S. Treasury and Lee Wanta does an interview out there. I will put that in Alex Jones's face because that's a promise. I will do that because he lied and he needs to come clean on that direct lie. Mm-hmm. Now, it's also a lie to censor people, and we know that he's done that. He's censored Judy Wood. He's censored Coldwell. So that's why I do not trust, even regardless of whether you believe in Stu Webb sources or not, that he's FBI number 5, regardless of that. If you can sit there and honestly say, well, it's okay that Alex Jones censored the best cancer doctor in the world. Think of how many lives he could have saved if he would have told everybody, hey, everybody, send Dr. Coldwell information to everybody in your email list. I mean, literally, he could have woken up probably 50 million people by now to Dr. Coldwell. But there's some evil force behind Alex Jones, or either Alex is evil himself or he is controlled by somebody evil that will not let him put Dr. Coldwell on that radio show. Either way, I got a problem with it. So, that's the main thing that we need to look at Alex Jones is, look at his news, but understand that the devil will tell you sweet lies, but that one time that you need the truth, he will hide that from you or he'll subvert it. So until Alex Jones comes clean on all these things that I bring up and others have brought up that are guaranteed fact, I've got the tape on him saying it about, Lee Want and so forth, then I will never trust that man. I will never trust him, because if you lie to me, you know how it is, Vinny. When you got a guy around you or a girl and you catch her in a bunch of lies, You can never trust that girl again. I mean, unless they repent and actually, have a come to Jesus moment and actually have a repent, repent those lies. And Alex Jones has never repented for his lies.
This is
Therefore, I do
ironic
not trust him.
because he's very, very deeply Christian and is quite vocal about it on air. Um, and the nature of deception is to tell everybody the opposite of what you really are.
Right. Well, here's the thing. You cannot be a Christian and tell a lie, a knowing lie. Now, if you said something that wasn't true, that's not the same thing because that's ignorance, okay? But if you tell a known lie and you do not repent for it, you by definition cannot be a Christian. You're not walking with God. Liars, liars don't get into heaven. So Alex Jones will have to repent for his lies. That's a fact. He has to do that before God. I'm not here to judge him. I'm just here to say I know 100% that he has lied, and that's why I came out with the information. And quite frankly, I think it's done some good because I see Alex Jones. We have to keep him honest because since he has leadership role, I want to push him. I want him to get hardcore, whatever it takes, because we have to kind of use him in a way because he does have the biggest voice. So in a way, I really did this to make him work even harder and to try to gain back the credibility or whatever and show us solutions because that's the other thing, Vinny. He's had 17 years in this business. How many petitions has he put out there to recall people in Congress? Because you can do a recall petition and start pulling people. You can start doing lawsuits against us. And one more thing before I forget. Stu Webb, when he met Jones, only needed 50 grand to put about, by estimates of lawyers, because they have figured out the fraud from the Bush Clinton crime syndicate, Leonard Millman, and all this stuff. They've calculated that if it went to court and you did all the suits that were necessary or whatever, that they could potentially recover anywhere from $200 to $300 trillion for the American taxpayers. Because you got to understand, Leonard Millman was the dad of the woman that Stu married. He was worth 30 trillion by himself, which was all based on fraud. Now, most people don't realize this. I know you've heard this from Stu, but Daddy Bush, by estimates, is worth, I mean, of course, Millman worked for Bush, so of course Bush had more money. They estimate that he has at least $80 trillion by just alone. Most people that say that's impossible. He only supposed to have 5 million because that's what he put when he was president. He told everybody he was only worth $5 million.
Hello, do you know what you can do in order to conceal your wealth? You put everything into trust. One of the Kennedys, for example, was being sued by a woman for sexual harassment, and the lawyers of him told that woman, "You're not going to be able to get anything out of him because he doesn't own anything."
Right. So anyway, here's the thing is if Alex Jones was a real patriot, real, unbiased person like yourself that doesn't stop people from coming on, if he would have just given Stu Webb a segment and said, hey guys, this guy's being abused by the Bush crime syndicate. He's got FBI hitmen going after him. We need to raise him some money. If he would have just done that, then I would have known he was real. He could have potentially already, this lawsuit would have already been over. We would have had a bunch of New World Order pigs in prison already. But what does he do? He tells John Staff, oh, I don't think he's real. He's not real. That's why his information was used in Congress in the housing, in the savings and loans crisis and put people in jail. That's why his information was created over 8 books. You don't tell somebody he's not credible. Okay, that's just a cop out that he had to say so they wouldn't, pursue it. But, that ended up costing a couple of people their jobs because they wanted to still interview Stu and they got kicked off the network, as you know. So that's my problem with Jones. Ultimately, no solutions. There's many solutions that Stu talks about. Things like I said, petitions to recall Congress, lawsuits that, could have already been funded with Jones's money. But what has he done? Let's think about this. He just raised 500 grand in his last money bomb, people. That's what he says anyway. So what's he doing with that money? Oh, he's going to get bigger studios, hire more people. Well, that's okay. And that would be fine if he was also doing solutions. We're not this game. Let's think about it. He's done no solutions in 17 years. What happens if he does another 17 years with no solutions? I mean, we're all dead by then.
You know what?
We're dead. The New World Order wins.
I just think about myself and the role that I play. I had a very long conversation with my former co-host, Will Ryan, the other night. And I was just thinking about this. Let's say I wanted to stop the government from being tyrannical. I can't. Let's say I wanted to stop Monsanto from selling GMO food. I can't. The only thing I can do, really, is talk about these things and let people know about them. I believe the role of the media is that, and that in specificity. Solutions are somebody else's problem in a large degree, you know, and that's like abdicating personal responsibility, I know, but it's like you've got so many things you want to do. Just getting information out, on the other hand, is so time consuming and so extraordinarily hard to do. To that, on top of that, be the solution provider as well. It's actually taking away the responsibility of all other people's personal responsibility as well. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say here. Really.
What I'm saying is it would be so easy for him to use his websites to let people organize state by state and actually provide a framework. He could have said, I mean, I'm just throwing out ideas here, but I mean, seriously, the first Saturday of every month could have been petition day, you know, where we go out neighborhood by neighborhood. I mean, that's what it's going to take. It's not going to get done by the media. It's too controlled. I mean, we got to take this country back house by house.
Yeah, indeed. Street by street. We'll be right back after the break with Glenn Canady from nsearch.com. You listen to the Vinnie Eastwood Show. It's the lighter side of genocide, because in a world so full of chaos and madness, if you lose your sense of humour, you'll go friggin' nuts. And you know what? Whenever people are criticising Alex Jones, they run great risk of being, destroyed by Alex Jones fans. Like, see, I've seen it happen, man. It's basically career suicide. And I'm taking great risk, and kind of like there's this little voice in my head going, Vinny, stop talking about this. Change the subject.
Well, I don't worry about it because, you know, number one, we've exposed people, and I know you talked about it with Stu, but, you know, we've exposed the satanic sacrifices in Denver by the most evil men on the planet, the Council of 13. We were all over that story big time. So, I mean, when you deal with that, you know, Alex Jones is just a gnat on an elephant compared to these people. So, you know, I've said my piece about Alex Jones. I've got the information. You know what? I know people believe my information because when I look at my YouTube videos, I get way more thumbs up than thumbs down. And I understand. You understand, if I would have had the information that I have given people back when I first knew about Jones, I would have never, you know, carried his water, because I said, wait a second, he's censoring cancer cures. Wait a second, he censored a Marine whistleblower that his information was used in Congress. Warning, something doesn't seem right here. Why is he doing this? You know, so I guarantee you 100% that if you look at my information, you know something isn't right. And I do it because I want to push Jones. I want him to repent. I want him to join the good side of the force, quit lying about Judy Woods and space beams and all this garbage. You know, it was funny, you know, because Stu, as you know, has really been vindicated over the last 6 months. I mean, first, Gordon Duff, that tremendous interview that you can see on YouTube. If you just Google Stu Webb, Gordon Duff, awesome interview. He verified everything Stu Webb has said. He even said on the show, hey, Stu, if it wasn't for you, we would have never even known about this Millman guy and all this stuff that was going on in the mafia and so forth. So, I mean, Stu Webb's a patriot. I'm just going to say that. And you know, that's all I want to say is I hope Alex Jones has a come to Jesus moment stops lying and repents for his lies, because and I do disagree with one thing he said, Vinny. I understand that the normal job of the media isn't to take a side. I understand all that, but we're literally in a fight for life and death here. And even if Jones doesn't want to provide a solution, he knows as well as I, if not more, because he's been in this game a lot longer than I have. And I don't do this also out of jealousy, so don't even go there. I could care less. I'm a team player.
It's funny that you should mention that, because that was exactly what I was about to say. Because if anybody comes out and criticizes Alex Jones, they get accused of jealousy or I want to. I basically, it's lonely at the top. I want to be him, therefore, and I can't be him, so therefore I'll criticize him and bring him down to my level. That's what we get accused of.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing, guys. Number one, I'm not even in this game anymore. I only came on this interview because I had promised you before I'd even changed our format that I would talk about this. So, I won't even be really doing much of these in the future, maybe a couple here and there, but overall, I'm out of this game. I never wanted to be an Alex Jones. I just wanted to be a team player like you did. I started my site not thinking I was going to be an Alex, just wanting to be a part of the solution. I would have been so happy to find out Alex Jones was real, because quite frankly, Vinny, I can guarantee you this. I just know what I would have done in his position if I would have had, been in the exact same position. Because number one, he was a millionaire before he even started. Stu found that information out from him. He got relatives. He inherited money. Just say that. So he's worth some money before he got big like he is now. But regardless, he's pulled in millions of dollars. He's got the bunker, under his house that he's working on. So he's very well taken care of. And it all makes sense if he is pushing some kind of agenda. And like I said, I'm not jealous at all, because if Alex Jones was real, we would have already won this war. I really do believe that, because here's why. Number one, he would have funded Stu Webb's lawsuits, and Stu Webb alone could have done some major damage. He's, he needs lawyers, he needs money, but that would have been simple for Alex Jones. I mean, he could have raised 50 grand in an afternoon, literally. I mean, no problem. So don't sit there and tell me that that's okay that Alex Jones didn't fund a super patriot called Stu Webb, because anybody that's real in this business, will tell you Stu Webb is legit. He is legit. He is classified as a federal whistleblower. He's got great information. That's why they try to kill him so many times, guys. They're not going to try to kill him if he's no threat. Okay. So it's never okay to censor somebody like Stu. So my only thing is, if he doesn't want to be part of the solution, then why didn't he ever build somebody else up that could have done that and said, hey, everybody, go over to Vinny's site, go over to Project Ins, whatever. It's like, I don't even want that position, because like I said, I'm all about spreading the information as far as keeping people right with God, because without God, we're doomed anyway. But I'm just saying, anybody else that's legit, like you, Pete Santilli, there's only a handful of people that I trust, because you guys are the only ones that haven't censored the information. And I've been watching you. You've been doing a great job out there. And Pete Santilli's done a very good job, and just a handful of others. But everybody else, like Intel Hub, oh, we don't want to talk to Stu Webb. Oh, it's like, what? You're a fraud.
To a large extent, I think the whole concept of trust is actually quite dangerous, because you can trust somebody to be honest, but they could be wrong. And if you're trusting somebody's information or whatever, knowing that they could be wrong, you can lead yourself down several garden paths. And it's like, you can trust somebody's integrity, but you can basically never trust somebody's information unless you've really looked into it and researched into yourself to confirmation. Like, you have to be a constant skeptic, particularly of the people you love and trust. I mean, that's the reason why finding out the truth about Alex Jones offended me and threw me for such a loop, and actually really depressed me, because of the enormous amount of trust that I put in him. It's like, you put somebody up on a pedestal, okay, and once they fall off that pedestal, you, the person who put them up there, who's been supporting them all this time, are the one who gets crushed when they fall.
Yeah. And it's upsetting upsetting because you trust this guy, and then all of a sudden you find out, wait a second, he's the biggest out there, he's got the most reach, and he's not real. He's got some kind of agenda that I didn't know about. Then you're like, oh my gosh, I can't trust anybody basically at the top.
Hey, maybe that's part of the agenda, is so that everybody is so distrust. And here's the thing: what are friendships and relationships supposed to be based on? They're supposed to be based on trust. Okay? Right. If you don't have trust in a friendship, if you don't have trust in your partner that you're in a relationship with, you don't have a friendship, you don't have a relationship. It's just that simple.
That's right.
And if you and I've met too many people who are damaged goods, who have had their trust violated, and they're unable to trust anybody ever again, and in so doing, they're incapable of having a real human relationship ever again.
That's true. You're right about that. I mean, I always trust people until I have a reason not to, because you can't live like that. You cannot, I don't trust anybody anymore. I will trust somebody until I basically catch them in lies and catch them deceiving, and they don't. And when you bring it to their attention, I mean, that's the other thing is, I have a big problem when I can't reach people in this business. You know what I mean? Like, I can reach you. I could never reach Alex. I could never reach Mark Dice. I could never, all these people that are unreachable ever, no matter how many emails, no matter, I'm saying? It's like they get their little cubby hole and they're isolated. Then they can say, it's always, you hear that on the air all the time. Alex, I sent you 5 emails. Didn't you get them? Oh, send it to me again. It's like, I seriously think every email that goes to InfoWars just goes down the toilet or something, because
it sounds like
emails were never returned. Hundreds.
It sounds like
don't want to.
It's not entirely dissimilar from how politicians respond to things, I think I ambushed the Prime Minister of New Zealand, Mr. John Key, used to work for the Federal Reserve in charge of derivatives for 2 years in New York. And I talked to him about world government. He goes, send me a letter. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You're not going to read that letter? Why do you think I'm ambushing you?
Send a letter. I like that. But I mean, here's the thing, guys, and I've said pretty much the main points about Alex Jones. You've covered it, and I'm not saying, don't ever go to his website. I mean, use some of his information if it's good information, but don't, like you said, don't trust any one source. And I can't trust a liar, period. I cannot trust somebody I know is a liar. So that's why I put out this information, because I just want you to know, you're not going to be saved by Alex Jones, in my opinion.
Well, here's an encapsulated view for you. If you want to wake people up, kind of like if you want to give them a drug that'll get them hooked on the truth, give them Alex Jones. Seriously, he wakes people up like nobody's business. But you must evolve from that. Okay? Right. You can't just be hooked on a substance and never give it up, because it will destroy you, essentially, and that's essentially what it is about. Introduce yourself to the truth. He's remarkably better at that. I can't find anybody that is better at waking people up than him, as try as I might. But again, he's not the be all and end all. Nobody is. We're all human. We're all flawed, and we'll also be right back because we've got commercial breaks with Glenn Canady.
No matter where you live, globalism affects you. Did you know that the Vinnie Eastwood Show has more subscribers than New Zealand Herald TV and is New Zealand's most popular YouTube news channel, where warm-hearted humour and a list of awesome guests talk about crucial issues which the mainstream media ignore? A show where you, the listener, can phone up with questions, comments and suggestions of guests. Vinnie is building a hub to connect truthers with raw information they need to become active. He can help you gain further skills such as website building, producing audio and video, and creating revenue streams in your own multimedia environment. Because Vinnie supports such a wide range of people in the truth movement, he is not government or corporate backed and relies entirely on your donations. Give now, give generously, or subscribe for $10 a month for access to ad-free video archives. Just visit thevinnieeastwoodshow.com and click donate.
If you take an active interest in maintaining the optimum health and well-being of yourself and your family, The New Zealand Journal of Natural Medicine is the magazine you've been waiting for. Having taken Australia and New Zealand by storm, the New Zealand Journal of Natural Medicine is now available in the UK and Europe. Visit www.nznaturalmed.co.uk or call 01626 337 531 to order your copy now.
Do you realize every day we are being put under constant stress from wireless radiation? What's worse is that you don't even know that it's happening. It puts as much stress on our body as if we had a constant viral infection, draining our energy and sapping our strength, or just making us irritable and fatigued. These wireless fields are being emitted from computers, microwaves, mobile phones, power lines, and any electrical appliance. Now there is a solution. A group of research engineers in New Zealand have come up with an active shielding device that shields you from wireless radiation at a cellular level. Blue Shield comes in 3 models: a household, portable, and USB that plugs into any computer. The great thing about Blue Shield is it is very affordable and guaranteed to last. A one-off purchase will see you being protected for years to come. Visit AmericanFreedomRadio.com and click on the Blue Shield banner. Blue Shield, brought to you by the VinnieEastwoodShow.com.
I really did believe him for a couple of years. And that's what I've talked to a lot of people, Stu Webb and a lot of others, and they all got sucked into him at the beginning too, because you can understand, when you start looking into him, he sounds like he's real. I mean, he sounds like, I want to beat these guys, I don't censor anything, and he sounds very sincere. He's a funny guy, he's a likable guy. I mean, I wanted to believe in him the whole time, and I did believe him for several years. And it's funny because I have some people attacking me now because, oh, you used to say that Alex Jones was wonderful. Yeah, it's called changing your mind when you get more information. It's not a sin to make a mistake. It's only a sin if you don't admit your mistakes when you find out.
Mark Twain, I think it was Mark Twain that said, when an honest man is confronted with the truth that he is wrong, he will either cease to be wrong or cease to be honest.
Yeah. Absolutely. You've got to make, when you make a mistake, everybody makes mistakes. When you find out you made a mistake, you correct it. And that's what I did with Alex Jones. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I never take any one person's, because I had a lot of people saying Alex Jones is bad. And I said, well, why is he bad? They can never give me a reason, and I was like, look, I'm not going to throw somebody in the bus, underneath the bus, unless I know for a fact I see the evidence for myself. So, I started digging around. I've seen, you've probably seen, if you type in Alex Jones Austin gun rally, that was the first thing that said, wait a second, this doesn't make sense. Here you see Alex Jones screaming at some lady's face, get out of my face. And then he calls her COINTEL the next day, and she was the one that invited him to the rally. He was just acting very strange. And I went down to Orlando.
.com, and he has written a number of articles for beforeitsnews.com, including analysis of Stu Webb, who has exposed people like Alex Jones and the Illuminati, as well as Pete Santilli on similar bases, as well as a number of other topics as well, including Veterans Today editor Gordon Duff, and the many, many different topics that he aspires to talk about as well. Glenn, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Vinny. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
May I ask, just kind of what actually got you into this form of research and thingies, and more to the point, I'm relatively unfamiliar with you and the things that you do, so I'd love an even better recap than I gave, which I assume is extremely possible.
Well, I don't really know how I got into this crazy business, whatever you want to call it. I tell you, to this day, I still don't know. I guess at first I thought Alex Jones was real, and he went out and said, start your own radio show, start your own website. So I started Project InSearch, project.insearch.com. And at first it was just basically uncensored news, kind of what you do. You talk the truth and you let the cards fall where they may. And then I started meeting different people, and I was like, whoa, this stuff is really deep. And When I first started, and I don't know which you want to cover, I guess we'll start maybe with the Alex Jones, because he's really what got me started, because I thought he was real. I wanted to believe him. I bought for my company, we were giving out his DVDs, his prizes. He was really the biggest thing out there as far as the most well funded. So as I start, and I on his information, even Jim Marrs says a lot of his information comes from his website and his investigation. So the guy's credible.
The short stack of which is he married a daughter of one of the members of the Illuminati S-type people, and ever since then, he's had everything bad happen for him. They even burnt down his house.
Yeah, they burned down a client's house that he was working on, and it wasn't even insured. So, that was not a good deal. And they tried to kill him multiple times, including multiple car accidents that were FBI personnel. So anybody that says that Stu Webb is a shill or a COINTEL, that person is a Fed or working for a Fed, guaranteed, or they're just dumb. Because the only people that say he's a Fed is like the idiots over at the Educate Yourself. If you type in Stu Webb and see any negative information, it's always from Educate Yourself or whatever it is.
What does the word educate mean? As far as I know, it means indoctrinate. So is it indoctrinateyourself.com?
Exactly. That guy's on government payroll, guaranteed. In fact, he's being named in Stu's lawsuits, and he will get revenge on these people that are employed by the government lying about it. But, so to make a long story short about Stu Webb, before he knew about Alex Jones, he started talking to his personnel, and in fact, one of the people that worked for him actually stopped by Stu's house and got some documents because he wanted to show him some real stuff. And I'm not a crackpot. Here's some real documents right in your face. And so he brought him back to Alex Jones, of course, and he hemmed and hawed and never really committed to getting him on the show, which is a lot of people you hear about, including Tila to try to meet him one time. And I talked to actually Aaron Dykes, who was running the cameras in the back, and, just asked, hey, is Alex going to stay? Because I was still believing in Alex even in Orlando. And I just wanted to shake his hand, look him in the eye face to face, just to get a feel for the guy. And I said, hey, is he going to stick around afterwards? And he says, oh, yeah, I'm sure we'll stick around for 20 or 30 minutes. And I was like, cool. So afterwards, he just got out of there really fast. And that was actually the last conference that he gave, the one in Orlando. He was supposed to go to more, and I never understood why he canceled all that. So I never got to meet him. And I, not too long after that, I met Stu Webb and got his information, and you've interviewed him. I've seen that before, so you're well aware of his information. And his information was basically that he had met Stu Webb 10 years ago. And for those of you that don't know about Stu Webb, he's what I consider a super patriot. He's a guy that's paid his dues, who's actually gone out there for over 28 years. He broke the 9/11 story 3 months before it happened, over 3 months before. But Alex Jones wants everybody to believe that he is the only one that came out with it before, but he actually only came out with it about a month before. So here's Stu Webb and Cooper and everybody was way out in front of this thing. And of course, Alex never gives anybody else credit. It's always me. Stu Webb's information was, before he found out from his sources about Alex Jones, he asked Alex Jones for help. He basically wanted to get on his show and tell his story because, as you know, it's a very incredible story. I mean, he has got some amazing information that over 8 books have been written.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Vinnie Eastwood Show. We're broadcasting live on AmericanFreedomRadio.com 5 days a week. You can check out the archives, both in audio and video, at the archives page at thevinnieeastwoodshow.com. And thank you very much all for listening, and particularly thank you for those who donate on a regular basis, $5 a month, and for that you get the commercial-free archives and all sorts of other little goodies as well. No, actually, I'm lying. You don't really get anything out of it. Other than the reason people donate, I assume, based on no evidence, is that you just want me to keep doing what I'm doing. So I will. Today, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, which is interviews with all sorts of different people from all over the spectrum. People who disagree with each other, people who agree with each other, people who have fights and what have you like that. I'm kind of like I'm kind of like a prostitute for truth. You know? Whoever comes on the show, I just proselytize myself and attempt to promote them as best I can, regardless of whether or not I agree with them or disagree with them or anything like that. I just want to hear them out, find out who they are and what they do kind of thing. So today we have Glenn Canady, not Glenn Canada, but Glenn Canady with a Y, and I believe his website is project.nsearch.com. /profile/Glenn Canady is the one that I'm particularly looking at the moment, but in general just project.nsearch